Thank you so much, Sumia. It's a true pleasure and honor to be here with you all today. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the globe. This is really exciting. It's a true pleasure for me to be with you all today. As Sumia mentioned, I'm Avishan Bodjnoud. I serve as the Chief of Information Management Unit at the United Nations headquarters in New York, supporting the departments of political and peacebuilding affairs and peace operation. And I'm truly honored to join you all at this exciting Mapathon, where your time, your curiosity, and your maps quite literally have the power to save lives. So this is really exciting, but also really rewarding. So Sumia was very kind to mention a little bit about me. And you might all have this question, how did I end up where I am today? So I was born in Tehran during a time when it was the Iran-Iraq conflict. And it was a time that shaped the way I saw the world as a child. So I grew up wondering why wars happen, why people suffer, and more importantly, what can be done to prevent it. Meanwhile, I was also exploring different type of technologies to see how we can use technology to connect people. So I found the dial-up modem. I'm not sure how many of you have seen a dial-up modem. You probably will never see a dial-up modem again. But back then, when I was a teenager, this was the best invention that had happened to me, because that was the way for me to connect to the internet and, in fact, connect to the world. So I realized that this is what I want to do. I want to be in technology to connect the world. So years later, after I became a software engineer and I was about to graduate from my master's degree, I decided to pursue my dream to use technology for peace. So all of a sudden, I found myself walking into the United Nations headquarters in New York after applying for an internship program, a 2-month internship program that almost 2 decades later, here I am as the Chief of Information Management. So what I discovered was that back then, the UN is not just about politics. It's also about data, technology, and yes, maps. Because these are the tools that help us at the UN understand where war zones are, where we can deliver humanitarian aid, and make decisions that can save lives. So I took the UN YPP, which is a junior level examination to join the UN's workforce. And I passed the exam. My first job, I was a database administrator in the United Nations Department of Safety and Security. I was doing a lot of data analysis, a lot of mapping of safety and security related incidents. And throughout my career, I joined peacekeeping. I worked on so many different projects, including situational awareness, doing multi-layer maps, showing conflicts on the map to help our decision makers save lives, protect civilians, and bring about peace. So why are maps so important? At the UN, maps are not just pictures or not just beautiful pictures. These are instruments of action. In a humanitarian emergency, for example, after an earthquake, after a flood, or in a war zone, the first thing that we need to know is where are the people? Where are the roads where we can deliver humanitarian assistance? Where can helicopters land to evacuate those who need to be evacuated? Where are the hospitals so that we can take the civilians who are injured there? So MAP gives us those answers to save lives, millions of lives every year. When I worked with peacekeeping missions, and Sumia knows very well, Sumia has been in South Sudan, I saw firsthand how a simple map showing the location of landmines made the difference between safety and danger. In conflict zones like in Mali or in South Sudan, or in Central African Republic, in Democratic Republic of Congo, maps can help us know which villages need protection, which routes are safe, and where our peacekeepers should go to protect men and women and girls and boys and the civilians on the ground. So maps, they are not just built by themselves, they're created by people like you, like all of you, volunteers, students, digital humanitarians, sitting in classrooms, in cafes, and in homes around the world, contributing to this much bigger mission. So to those of you mapping today, what you're doing really matters. Every heat map you create, every incident you mark on the map could help inform our decision-making at the UN to save more lives. It could help, for example, a medical team find the fastest route to a refugee camp. It could help us warn people before a storm hits, or we can also track the spread of a disease, such as like COVID-19, or we can monitor the impact of climate change on natural resources. So in other words, none of you actually needs to be in the field or on the ground to change the world. Sometimes all you need is a laptop and your willingness to care and to change the world. And of course, your mapping expertise. And this is what you're all doing today in this Mapathon. You're indeed part of a global movement of mappers who believe that technology should serve humanity. Technology should be used to make the world a better place. And the UN needs more people like you all, people who combine compassion with the skills, with purpose, and with action. So keep going. I've seen the beautiful maps that you developed. They're fantastic. They're so insightful. So keep going. Stay curious, and know that every small choice that you make, even if it's just creating a small heat map or indicating a small incident on a map, it can mean a lot to a decision maker, to somebody who's doing humanitarian work, to be able to save lives. So I know it's going to be a busy day. Thank you so much for letting me be part of this day. Thank you for all the great, meaningful maps you have developed. And thank you for reminding all of us that regardless of your age, your gender identity, your background, or where you are in the world and what language you speak, you have the power to contribute to peace and prosperity of the world, so that no child ever has to live in a war like the one I witnessed when I was growing up. So let's keep the peace in the world and save lives one map at a time. Thank you so much, everyone.